in order to have a functioning democracy, you have to have a free flow of information. You know, if the people are not informed, we must, quote, inform their discretion. So saith Thomas Jefferson, and he was a pretty smart guy. Given the attempts at keeping information secret with the laws, could you imagine if we didn't have them? There are two types of people in this world: information providers and information protectors. And unfortunately, there are a lot more protectors than there are providers. I was a city editor and reporter. Reporter and I were trying to get records from the city garage, a place where they charged $120 to other departments for things as routine as oil changes. And so we had gotten some of the records through sources. But then when we went and made a formal request for all of them, we were denied. And the reason we were denied was because in the process of compiling that request, the city discovered potential criminal acts to be investigated. Therefore, it was an investigative file. Therefore, it fell under the exemptions of the Freedom of Information Act. And they shut us down. And we marched it all the way up to the state Supreme Court. I spent a lot of the Virginian-Pilot's money that year on that. But yet it was a success because in requesting that information, changes to the way government operates were made. And we got the story anyway, by the way. You know, young journalists often start in kind of like a bull in the china shop, thinking, you know, I've got the law here and I'm going to go get it. But I would say, you know, smooth talking and work in the room is going to be the most expedient, cheapest, and best way to start. Always take your editors out on the limb with you. Eventually, if there's a conflict, it's going to cost somebody money and probably a lot of time and maybe lawyers. So if you're making a request, make sure your bosses know it and that they're part of it, not just simply inspecting it. Don't be afraid to negotiate. Sometimes it's you know, we stop at the can we or can't we get the information, and yet the barrier becomes price, right? And sometimes we just say, oh okay, and thinking we have to make a decision, either pay it or don't, and usually there's something in between. But sometimes you're going to run across stuff that's costs money, and you say, hey, it's reasonable, and you got to recognize that too. It's not just what you want to pay. Zero. Yeah. Here's the other advice. Always think zero.